One of the biggest challenges that people share is the struggle with managing and sharing files. In the next few lessons, we will focus on SharePoint document libraries. I will give you some ideas for things that you might want to consider when setting up and organizing your document library. I will show you how to click the buttons, but I'm also going to give some examples of how and why you might want to use some of the options. The idea is to do more than say, click this button because I said so, and help you understand what's actually happening so that you can take these tools and use them to best fit your business process. To get started, we're going to look at what SharePoint automatically set up when the site was created in the prior lesson. There are three categories in the type column: document libraries, events list, and a page library. The document library named Documents is the default location for all files. The other three document libraries support different SharePoint functionality. For example, we already have 57 items in the Site Assets library because a template with images was used to create the site. Those images can be found in Site Assets. The events list is often used to track events published on a SharePoint webpage, such as an upcoming town hall or all hands meeting. The last folder created by default is the page library. This is used to track all web pages associated with the site. Events and site pages will be discussed in more detail in later lessons. This module focuses specifically on how to use document libraries to organize your content. You can use the default document library to manage all files or create new ones based on departments, working groups, projects, etc. For example, I like to create a library to manage training videos. To create an additional library, go to the new drop-down arrow on the left side of the screen. Select Document Library from the menu. In the dialog box that appears, there are options to create a blank library, which will come with 4 basic columns, create from an existing library that you have access to, kind of like an informal template, or use a Microsoft template. If your organization publishes their own templates, you can find those under the From Your Organization tab. SharePoint can support up to 2,000 libraries and lists. For this demonstration, I will create a blank library so that we can walk through the process of managing columns and views from scratch. Give the document library a name, add a description, and then choose whether or not the new library will be shown in the site's navigation. In this case, I am going to remove the checkbox because the video library is only going to be used by a few people and not everyone who has access to the site. Then click Create in the bottom right corner of the dialog box. Now we have a new document library with 4 basic columns and one view called All Documents. The default columns are File Type, File Name, Modified, and Modified By. SharePoint created other columns to track metadata, but they are not automatically shown in the basic view. Metadata is defined as data about data, but what this really means is this is information captured about the file. It is used to describe, categorize, manage, or locate information. To see these additional columns, click the drop-down next to any existing column. From the menu, hover over Column Settings, then select Show Hide Columns. The Edit View Columns pane opens on the right side of the screen. Items with a check will be displayed in the view. Put a check mark next to anything you would like to add to your view. I would like to know who created the file compared to who modified it. Whatever you selected will be added to the right of the existing column, but you can change the order by using the up-down arrows to the right of the column name or left-click and drag the selected item into a different order. If you made any changes, click Apply. SharePoint does not have columns for every scenario. It is common to create additional ones to track information specific to your company, job, or preferred workflow. Click Add a column. In the Create a Column dialog box, scroll through the list to find the column type you would like to use. In this example, I will select Date to track when a file is due for review in accordance with our knowledge management policy. Click Next. Give the column a name. Although descriptions are optional, I like to use them so that my coworkers know what information to enter and when. This is particularly helpful when new people join the team. Each column type has a few settings to customize it. In this case, we can decide to show the time as well as the date, or set a default value. Click More Options to see additional choices. In this scenario, everyone must enter a date, so I will click the Require that this column contains information toggle button. Experience tells me that if I don't make this a required field, people will skip it and the review cycle becomes difficult to manage. Click Save. Now we have a customized metadata column. It's important to know that by default, every column created applies to the whole library, even if you create folders to separate your information. If you have too many columns, it can be difficult for people to know what to use when. Here's a quick story. I worked with a finance office that had multiple sections using the same SharePoint site. Audit wanted 25 columns, payroll needed 5, and so on. At one point, they had over 40 that everyone had to look through just to find the ones that applied to them. This was not ideal. Fortunately, changes have been made to modern SharePoint, and there is a solution. You can create different views and choose which columns to display in each view. Every column is still available to the whole library. You just don't need to see them in every view. Creating and managing views is what we will discuss in the next lesson.